We thought we knew exactly what moving to Spain was going to be like, but we were definitely in for some big surprises.
Some of the situations we found ourselves in were surprising. Some of them really tested our patience, but all of them are worth sharing with you so you don't have to go through the same thing we did.
Right.
Hi, I'm Cliff.
And I'm Cheryl.
And this is Closer to Happy.
We recently relocated to Spain to find a more balanced life, and we all love it.
We did, but some of the challenges of actually moving here were really interesting and worth sharing. The first one being bureaucracy.
The bureaucracy thing is so real.
It's really real. And a lot of people actually get so put off by it, they just quit.
Yeah, people leave.
Yeah.
People actually leave. So one of the biggest challenges we had a smooth sailing when it came to our visa. We hired a really excellent consultant, and
which was important.
Which helped so much, and she held our hand through the entire process, and we were able to easily get our visa. But when it came time to get our TA, our TIE, which is your NIE number, it is totally different game because it's all done here, it's all done in Spanish, and it's completely chaotic.
Yeah.
If you don't hire somebody to help you, which we
eventually did. Eventually we did.
After but we didn't at first because we were overly confident. We came in a little cocky. And that was a big mistake.
It's so unlike Americans to be cocky, but we thought we were going to have this dialed in, and then we really blew it the first time.
Definitely did. We showed up without an appointment. We showed up without our padrone. We got yelled at, and I think we deserved it. And our Spanish isn't even good enough to know what she said, so it's probably for the best. We don't know what
she didn't hurt our feelings. She just let us know we were not doing the right things.
Yeah, she was definitely clear in her feelings about us. Eventually, we hired an attorney to hold our hand through the entire process, come to our appointments with us, and it made all the difference. And we were able to then, not easily, but we were then able to get our TA, which is something you need for everything.
They ask to see your number and every time you buy or do anything.
You gotta have it.
Super important.
Also, it's for your visa. You have to have it. So here are tips to ease the bureaucratic process. Hire a gestor. That's GESTOR for those of you who don't speak Spanish.
Not a jester.
Not a jester.
Don't hire a jester.
That would be bad. Make duplicate copies of everything. Everything is still done by paper. You're going to need that. And the third thing is be patient.
Yes.
Just got to be patient.
Yep. Take a chill pill. The next thing that surprises or was a bigger deal than we thought is housing. So housing is tricky here for a lot of reasons. I mean, we were looking for a long-term rental, and that's very difficult in and of itself. You kind of have to go on, word of mouth, which is what we did. But you're renting usually places that are unfurnished, and we assumed that we would have to bring everything in, right? Yeah. And we were lucky enough at the end to actually have found a furnished apartment, but this is not normal, and you can't count on it.
Well, yeah, you can count on it, especially I think in the big cities. It's a little bit harder. I don't know. Maybe that's true. Maybe that's not true. Maybe you can tell us if that's true or not.
We'll debate this off camera.
We know people who had to rent unfurnished apartments, and they were very surprised because oftentimes, or at least occasionally, unfurnished means also no appliances,
right?
No lighting at all, and you're really starting from scratch. So, also no closets.
Yeah, there's a lack of closets here.
Lack of closets.
You have to get pretty creative about the closets.
Yeah. So we were very lucky. We rented a furnished place, and it saved us so much time, so much money, so much energy. But be prepared. Be prepared and make sure you budget for fully outfitting an apartment.
That's right. And you usually have to put down 6 months rental. You're not supposed to. It should be 3, but we have heard stories of people being asked to put down 6.
Yeah, typically it's 2 to 3, which is legal. 6 months is not legal.
Still happens.
It doesn't stop landlords from trying to charge you 6 months. And we have a real horror story. One of our friends rented a house outside of Valencia, moved in.
They had a dog, by the way, so it was really hard for them to find a place because they had a dog, and that's very hard to do here.
Very hard.
So they
that's
found a
another
house.
thing. Finding a rental, especially if you've got a pet, you're probably going to need to buy.
Yeah, I mean, they love dogs here. They just don't want their renters to have them.
Exactly. But so our friends moved into this really beautiful house that had been freshly painted, every wall crisp white. And they moved in, and the first night they woke up at 1 a.m, hyperventilating. They couldn't breathe. They were so sick, and they had to leave immediately. Came the next day and discovered that the landlord had painted over just tons of black mold.
Yeah,
It
like
was
recently.
uninhabitable.
The paint bucket of the mold paint was still there.
It was under this thing, a giant. Yeah, they had done the whole thing. Anyway, they couldn't live in the house. It was completely uninhabitable. They had an expert come who said that they might as well be living in the bottom of an aquarium, and tried to get their deposit back, and no luck. So be careful.
They ended up having to leave, by the way. They actually went back to Mexico where they were living before. And a lot of that was because they had the dog and they couldn't find a place. But so this did not have a happy ending.
It did not. Anyway, buyer beware. For sure.
The next challenge we dealt with were banking and money logistics. Man, this was a big deal we did not anticipate. If you're trying to open an account at a bank here and you are doing it as a foreigner living here, it's easier and it's more expensive, but it's easier. Now, we were doing it as residents, and when you do it as residents, you have to have your NIA card.
It took forever to get it open.
Like a couple
couple
months.
No, it was 3 weeks.
Oh, okay, sorry.
It was 3 weeks. Don't listen to him. It was 3 weeks, but that was really long. It's very different. Banking here is very different than waltzing into Wells Fargo, say, and opening an account on the spot. You walk out with your temporary checks and it's done.
Right.
That was absolutely not our experience. We will not name the bank, but I don't know. They made it
Sorry.
definitely much more difficult. We could not deposit any cash of any kind because we couldn't prove where we got it from. And we're not talking about a significant amount of cash.
It doesn't matter how much money you deposit, they want to know where you got it. And they want to document. This is part of having a NIA card. They want to know, okay, who are you? Okay, great. Where did the money come from? Show us proof. And it's really hard. I had sold some equipment and stuff like that back in the States before we came. And I just said, well, this is just from some equipment I sold. And they were like, nope. And I said, well, what am I supposed to do? How can I prove that I sold my equipment? And they said, well, there's a form. And we said, okay, can we have the form? Oh, we don't have it here.
No, and we don't know what it is.
We don't know what it is. But yeah, that was unbelievable.
It's unbelievable. This particular teller was not the most helpful. So, opening a bank, hopefully your experience is better than ours. Transferring money from the States also can be a bit of a challenge. So, I recommend opening either a Wise account or a Revolut account that you can transfer money into your Spanish bank account. It doesn't charge you fees for the transfer. It gives a fair exchange rate. I mean, given that the exchange rate is
Horrible.
terrible
Yeah.
right now, it still gives you a slightly better one than
A not as bad one.
a not as bad one. That's so bad still. So here are tips. One, keep a U.S. bank account open. You're going to need that, especially to have if you're getting Social Security or still paying bills in the U.S. It's really going to save you a lot of angst if you keep a U.S. account open. Open a Wise or Revolut account to be able to easily transfer money from your U.S. checking account into your Spanish checking account. And we hope you have a better experience than we did.
The next challenge we had that we knew about, but we didn't realize quite how big a deal it was going to be, is language and culture. When we first got here, we just didn't understand the way things work. We didn't understand the pacing of how things work. And of course, we didn't have a very good grip on the language. We're still learning. It's hard to master a language, but we really did not have a grip at all. And when you're trying to deal with the local bureaucracy, you really have to have a grip on the Spanish language. Now, we hired people who were fluent, and that really is what made a difference for us. But just understanding the culture, understanding the way things work so you don't get frustrated if something isn't working the way you think it is. So I went up to a music store about 45 minutes away to pick up an amplifier. And on the website, it said that they were closed from 2 to 5, but they're open till 10. And I said, okay, fine. So I went back. We were up right near there, but they were doing their break in the middle of the day. So I went back here, drove all the way back there, taking my time, got there at like 8:15, walked in like, no problem. The guy said, oh, we're closing in 15 minutes. I was like, wait, what? So I had to pick out an amplifier and a guitar in 15 minutes, which I did. And I think I did okay. But the fact is, I should have just known, I should have gotten there early. I should have not assumed that things were going to go the way that they were stated on the website.
No.
All I'm saying is you just got to be flex here.
Right, and that's the cultural part of it, right? That's the part where you really do need to understand that things move at a different pace. Things might not be open, even though they say they're open on the website. People are not, as in this case, highly motivated to make a sale. They really just wanted him gone.
You know, that's one of the things that the double-edged sword, right? It's not hyper-capitalistic here like it is in the US, but therefore the motivation, money doesn't motivate people as much as you think it does.
Yeah, definitely different. But also now going back to the Spanish, really, if you are moving to Spain,
learn Spanish.
Yes, make the effort to learn Spanish so that you can have Spanish friends.
Right.
And communicate and have, authentic connection. So there's so many reasons to learn Spanish. Don't be that expat who never learns Spanish.
I always do this. I'll have my Google Translate up and I'll try to, figure out what I want to say, and then I'll go up and I'll look at it and I'll try to get it memorized, and then I'll say it, and they'll look at me like, oh, isn't that sweet? You're trying to speak Spanish to me. And they'll be like, oh, okay, I understand what you, because I usually can get it across what I'm saying, but they also know I'm trying and they really appreciate it, and they're very sweet here. They're not going to give you grief.
Yeah. Nope. Learn Spanish.
We alluded to this before, but flexibility changes everything. You have to be flexible here. You have to take the mañana attitude to life, because the lifestyle here is slower, which means you will enjoy it more, so definitely do. But everything else, you start finding out that they really do things better here than they do in the US. The trains here, first of all, they have trains. Second of all, they're fast, they're affordable, they're clean, they run on time. And in fact, that goes for airports and everything.
I think all transportation is a notch above the US. That's why we're here, right?
Yep.
The lifestyle just is better in so many ways. Healthcare, so much better in so many ways. But there are frustrations, going back to that mañana mentality. You're waiting for repairs or deliveries. You're not really sure when they're gonna happen.
Right.
And you've just got to be flexible and okay with it.
Yeah.
No pasa nada. If you come in with an attitude of being very rigid, you will be deeply unhappy.
Yeah.
I promise you.
Yeah.
And if you come in with an attitude of flexibility, you will be a much happier person.
And people will like you more.
People will definitely like you more.
Hopefully some of these tips are useful to you. If so, like the video and subscribe. Please, subscribing really helps us, so please do that.
Do you know that 80% of the people that watch our videos have not subscribed? 80%.
Shame on you.
Come on, guys.
But anyway, if you found this helpful, do like and subscribe. And come back for more, because we're going to be sharing our experiences. Ciao.